All right. All right, big
Oh,
dog.
what's good with you?
Ain't much, ain't much, ain't much. You cut this out
Yeah,
anymore. Um, you can hear me good? You got me?
yeah, I got you full. You on lock in here. It's just a matter of getting some lighting. That's about it. Yeah, it's set up for the computer. It actually didn't give me the option for invite, which was weird.
See, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering.
Yeah. So, how you doing? How's the day so far?
Man, hanging in there. It's been good. It's been good in all honesty. Um, Playing a little Call of Duty with my girl earlier. Waiting to go ahead and lock in with you. That's pretty much been the vibe.
You got to at least your girl played games with you though, because like I had to stop playing games because the it was either music or play games. And I figured, because I'd spend all night, man. I have an addictive personality, so I would sit there and play all night and have nothing to show for it afterwards, other than some trophies and a kill death ratio.
Yeah.
So I started taking it serious, and like I went ahead and got out of. I think I jumped out at Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like the one where they went to space.
On a regular Call of Duty, Black Ops joints.
I think it was, yeah, it was the Black Ops joint. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I played the remasters on Origins. That's like the Black Ops 3. And then they did the Origins, and I think that they had all of those maps inside of it too. You know what I mean? But I played it on that.
So is that your main game, or like do you play other games?
Honestly, my main game is GTA 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even with a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now, as far as getting everything going, it's more so lining up for GTA 6.
Yes.
I know the drops coming in. I know, you know what I mean? It's gonna be content for years.
It really is though. Like it's gonna change. I mean, it based on how long they've been working on it, it's gonna change games. I mean, like
Yeah,
it's gonna change the game of games.
I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
I'm ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it. Like my son, because like I don't even have a PlayStation no more. My son's got it, and I'm like, yo, let me know, when that comes out. I'll get on with you. But other than that, I stay away. I stay away. It's like somebody that's that got a betting problem or a gambling problem. Like I already know if I play one game, I'm in it. I'm there all night.
Oh man, it for me more so. It takes me if I haven't played in a while. It takes me a little bit to get into it. But once I get into the vibe, you know what I mean. You know how it is if you haven't been on it for a while. Learning the controls again,
Yeah.
you gotta have to want to go through that learning process of it again and being like, all right, I'm messing up a little bit. But once I get over the hump, I'm in there. I'm
Yeah.
in there.
Anything worth doing, there's going to be some type of learning phase or learning process, and it's almost always worth it to actually do that, to go through that hardship, because it is a hardship getting killed. I have too much pride.
Yeah, that's the real truth about it. So even with you with the gaming, you said that you went to it, you turn it into your to an income source.
So that was the crazy part, is that like when I saw that it was a possibility to even turn it into an income stream, it was like, all right, so let's go ahead and do that. We actually, my son, he loves, he wanted to be a YouTuber, because this whole generation is all about, let's monetize that, and let's live the life. I mean, because that's a dream for us. Like, for my generation specifically, it was like that was not even a thought. And then when I saw that you can make the views that you can get just off of YouTube on playing games, it was like, all right, good to go. And then my brother's still doing Twitch. My older brother is still doing Twitch, and every night he's on there and just racking it up.
Do you feel like so you do see it as the blessing that it is?
Oh
I
yeah,
know that there's a lot of people that kind of like you can always pick and scratch at it. or depending on what level you're at in the game or whatever you want to call it
Yeah.
in life that you're chasing after. I'm telling people, even with myself, sometimes it's like, all right, even if you're not making 100,000, you already have a job that's supplementing everything that you're doing. So to have this thing that you already enjoy doing, bringing your fun money, like what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean?
If you're
Or you
already
could pick
doing
another, you work your main job and then pick a part-time job that fucking sucks, and then you bitch about that the whole time too.
Yeah, what I find really funny about the industry that we're in is that everybody talked about being independent because, going through it, they see what it means to be independent and they're like, okay, yeah, I want to do it on my own. I want to stand on my own 2 feet and I want to be in control of my masters and my royalties. I want to be the one. And then, they did all that and they've gone through the hardships of learning the process. And then they give Spotify all the like, oh, I'm going to take 0.003 cents per stream. That's worse than any record deal you could do. Only now you're doing it independent with no resources. Like, what? Come on, man. That's the game is reversed. Like it is definitely in. We thought that with Napster and everything that it was progressing music. That like music is free. Well, I hate to agree with Lars for anything, the drummer of Metallica, but I mean, it really did ruin music. Like as far as the monetary part of it. And I wish that it wasn't the way it is, but now we're back to direct to consumer. Like, and when I was actually active in being an artist, 2006 to 2012, I was selling CDs hand to hand out the trunk of the car, and like that was the only way to really get it out there. Even though YouTube was on, I wasn't going that route. I was underground, so I was every person I meet, fan one at a time.
I think it's funny that you said that. I think what some people probably don't look at the world in at this point is that technically everybody's underground.
Yeah.
Mainstream, because guess what? Even if you're mainstream, if you're not on somebody's specific algorithm, they're not going to get you either.
Nope.
And it's kind of showing even what was kind of happened with Drake recently, with everything that's going on with that, with his latest release. It's just showing you, okay, even without the push, he still is who he is.
Yeah.
But it's just not going to cross those lines for people that aren't looking for that style of music now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
technically, everybody's underground because it's only for people, they're only going to come across you if they're looking for that specific genre, which is how underground music kind of is. You know what I mean?
And it always has been. I mean, it really has. I mean, if you got on with the right group, that was, you realize that the community was the people that you needed to get with because it's an automatic inset it's a road into an audience that you don't know until you because you wouldn't even know who listens to underground until that you see them at a show. Because it's not like people are just advertising that. They might wear a Drake shirt, but they're not really wearing, somebody's face on their shirt no more. Because it means a lot. It means a lot to me to wear somebody's brand nowadays. Like you gotta agree with them wholly and fully, and you gotta make sure that they ain't messed up in the public's eye, because then you looking all types of out of place. So
You're picking up battles, yes.
yeah, for sure. Every day though, isn't that what we do though? We pick our battles because, I mean, what else you gonna do? It's never gonna be just an easy ride. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So how long have you been in the industry?
I wouldn't consider myself being in the industry, you know what I mean?
Now?
But honestly, I've been doing a thing with music for a long time, but it was kind of a older version of the newer version of what artists kind of go through.
Okay.
Whereas you start off, you want to be the rapper. You don't have anybody that's willing to record you, or the people that are recording you, they want to be rappers too. So now we're spitting studio time or something like that, you know what I mean? Because they got equipment, so you can't really buck it.
Yep.
So leading into now, I have to start learning how to do it, so I could do it for myself. Then you start phasing yourself out. You know what I mean? Got to the point where I phased myself out of it. I was like, all right, let me just slowly start learning this. I saw what the internet started doing and wanted to do a little bit of everything, and then that's how I kind of blew my nut at one point in time. because I wasn't investing completely in one thing. All right, I can't get the best camera because I'm trying to buy a mic too. So let me get the medium mic, the decent camera, then you get the shit. You're like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
This is
The
so,
trials and tribulations of trying all the technology out, because you don't know what to get in the beginning, especially in the early days, because there wasn't a lot of guidance out there. Now you pop on YouTube, there's a million people with a bunch of opinions. They're gurus, but they they all disagree with each other. So good luck on trying to find the right answer.
it's, even with that for myself, that's honestly been the biggest blessing because it's more so just been a lack of information. I don't mind listening to somebody, especially when I know I don't know what the fuck it is that I'm talking about in this respective subject. But like you said, it is getting somebody to where it's okay. When you're saying it, you're going to at least explain it to me why you're saying it. And it's not just I'm saying it type deal. So even coming across a few YouTubers and stuff like that, where I was like, okay, I knew that this was feasible within my realm of what I'm trying to do. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. So I would tell the guy, something to look at is Help Me Divine. That's on YouTube or whatever.
Yes.
One of the biggest things to be like, okay, outboard gear versus plugins.
Yeah.
Ever since I've been trying to do music, that's been my biggest one. I have a cousin, he plays drums professionally. He has a big studio. Can't ask him questions because he's coming from, oh man, you just need to get an Avalon and then plug it.
What? Okay.
You said I need to buy a car to sit in my room. That's what you said.
Yeah. You need to put payments on that card. That's the thing. Like, it's payments. Like,
what are we talking about? These aren't answers.
That's a you should do. That's a I wish list of things. Because like when you first starting out, why don't do it? Please don't do it to yourself. Don't go getting all the equipment and then having no idea how to use it and going. Because I see it so often. I see people that are they go out because they invested, which is absolutely it's important to invest at the right times. Because if you go ahead and you go the Henry Ford model, which you just buy everything, you bought a whole studio, you spent $70,000. You don't know how to use it. You don't know the background or the technical of it. It's like, yep, I got a studio, but I don't really know anything about that piece of equipment or that. Like, who's your favorite producer?
What do you mean? What do you mean as far as producer?
Great question, because that is so I say the same thing. I was actually going to clarify beforehand. When I say producer, I mean in the classic sense of the word. Like, they are they direct the orchestra essentially. Like, it's not necessarily the person that made the beat, like not that kind of producer, even though they can be that person. And it's not the engineer, it's the person that's making, like Rick Rubin style, where I don't consider him to be he's really more of an orchestrator, because he's just saying he doesn't have any background knowledge of music. Well, he says that he didn't have any background knowledge of music. Like, he didn't have any. I never played any guitar. I never sang. I never touched.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You give me one moment. I'm getting a phone call.
You good?
All right. I'll be right back. Give me a second.
You good?
I apologize.
All right. Wow. Shameless plug. Tonight at midnight, we got Aunt Kelly coming off with with his new track for the Heights Club 25.
Man,
I was just going.
I apologize, my man.
It's all good.
I apologize.
Shameless plugging.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, we
finish it off, man.
Yeah, so tonight at midnight we got the third single from the Heist Club, hashtag Heist Club. It's a collaborative project with 13 artists, one of which was Arlen or Awaz. He's on here, and everybody's playing a role. It's essentially we're pulling off a heist. We're going to be robbing a dispensary because it's an all cash business. We shoot the video at the end of this month. We'll be shooting the video for it. It's like it's a mini movie. It's hard to call it a music video because it's standing on its own as a mini video that's like it's about 15 minutes or so right now runtime. So it's like it's a mini movie. So we're gonna have two versions of it: one with the music in the background, and then the other one that just plays with the regular audio. But it's a huge project. This is something I've been doing for 10 years. I thought of it 10 years ago, and it's just now coming to fruition.
It's funny that you said that. That kind of leads back into once again what I was saying, even in my situation. To have those type of ideas or to have those thoughts with being like, all right, I can't really, even for myself earlier, trying to get them off and ruining ruining the situation a little bit more than if you had just waited or just understood like, okay, it's a good idea. I just can't get it off. Let me wait till I can. Something
That's
like
exactly
that is most definitely in that field of like, especially nowadays, you have to kind of come with more than just some nice song or nice words. You have to paint the image or even put people in that position sometimes. You know what I mean?
it's the facts. Because if you're not actually doing something more like something new, something original, something innovative, then you're really just blending into the noise. Because there's 125,000 songs put out every single day on streaming. There's 33,000 podcasts put out every single day on streaming. So it's like that's a lot of competition. If you don't have something that sets yourself apart from them, then you're just going to fade into the background and not know why you're not getting anywhere. People don't really they have this vision. Like a lot of artists are like, let me make this album or this song even. Like they'll do a single and be like, all right, I think I'm good. Like that's like 20% of the work at max. And there's the 80% the public never even sees, but that's the work. So either you learn like yourself, like you either learn, which is what I did as well. I self-taught for as long as I possibly could. Um, but if you're willing to self-teach, then you can do this. But it's going to take you time. I'm in
Yeah.
year 7, a 10-year plan. Like and this part is all networking. Like that's what the last 3 years is. Finish my school, my degree, and go ahead and like network. Get all the contacts that I didn't have. Videographers. I never cared about videos because I didn't really want to. I wanted to make them, but I knew it was expensive. Um, but after networking, just coming across this one and that one, and this one not working out for a reason, I finally got to a point where I can fulfill this crazy idea that I have to do. It's essentially 8 years worth of project.
I'm looking forward to it. That's a fire idea. I'm looking forward to seeing it come to
I don't.
fruition.
Do you know anybody? Because we've had this debate in the group, but like, have you aside from Wu-Tang Clan, really like, what's the biggest group collaboration that you've ever seen? Like, I would even be willing to say like No Limit. Like I'd go there, like because they weren't collabing, but they was definitely all over everybody's talking back and forth on stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I can't lie. Yeah, I would probably. Yeah, if you had to. Yeah, No Limit. But even with that, you still never got like a posse cut from them.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
no,
mean?
not
Even
really.
the one that you would think of like was just like with like Mia X, Master
No,
P,
it's,
Silk Shocker,
it's funny.
Mystical.
You said the exact names that are in a song on Mystical's album Ghetto Fabulous, and it's called The Robbery. When I was a kid, that's what got me the idea originally. I want to do a song like that, but like bigger, and that originally
BKC
got
was
that song.
big dog.
I can't even. Oh, there it goes. I wasn't even seeing comments. Um, but yeah, like we're just honestly, I talk to people all over the world. There's people from Australia. There's people from the Bahamas coming up, all over the United States. All coming here to this town in Florida. Like the I'm in LA. I'm in the lower Alabama. Like we're up here in the Panhandle. It's sticks. It's country sticks. Like there ain't nothing here. I call it the music. It's where musicians don't want to go. Like no musicians. There's tours barely stop here. So it's like I can travel anywhere though. I can say that I can travel anywhere within 4.5, 5 hours, and I can be anywhere in the southeast. Really, um, I travel a lot for music. Do you ever do shows like live?
at one point I was doing shows, like I said, when I was super active and trying to get it moving. But one of the biggest problems in this area more so is um, the value that artists can place on themselves super quick because they feel that they have a local buzz, not even really realizing that it's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a
So
drop in the
now
bucket for sure.
you got a little buzz going, and we could be collaborating and combining these 1,000 you have, and you this 1,000 you have. But instead, you rather be like, no, this is my 1,000, and if we do this one together, this is my 1,000 I'm bringing. So what are you? You know what I mean? It's like you're not anywhere yet. What are you?
Right.
What are you even doing? It's 1,000 views, bro. What are we doing?
Fighting over
None of
scraps.
us are anywhere yet. We need to keep working
Yes.
together and build a scene. So, like you said, it can be a type of situation that people can say, okay, this is a collective spot, a collective date that we are coming together and can do something as a whole. Instead of it feeling like you have to arm wrestle and tussle with somebody else on zero. And then you can't even be honest and be like, look, bro, you're not anywhere. Well, where are you at? I'm nowhere too. And that's what I'm telling you. Is that
yeah.
both of us
We're
are
both
nowhere.
on.
We can work together and be somewhere. So one of that thing, that's why even with some people, with myself, at the end of the day, being with things that are what they are, running it. You know what I mean? Go ahead and running the whole system and doing everything that I need to do and learning the whole system. So I will be the hub. We do
That's
have. The funny thing is, you ever heard of you might not have heard of it. Ocean City, they be having a thing down here like O2 for like street cars and stuff like that.
okay. Okay. Yeah, we
Um,
got a different one out here. Like we got
yeah, yes.
yeah.
This area is literally like that because it's a beach. It's a
Yep.
beach out here. So a lot of the dudes that are musicians or whatever, a couple of guys that got studios, they play guitar or whatever during the weekend. That pays for their studio that they're renting in town. But you know what I mean? I'm just saying it's the same
Yeah.
vibe as far as what you're explaining your area. So pretty much, I guess it's kind of trying to do what you're doing for that area, where though you can be a liaison, and when people are coming to you, you already once again have the value placed, so they don't feel like when I'm coming to you and saying, "Hey, I could offer you this." It's not a "Hey, I'm offering you this because it helps me too." It's "Hey, no, this helps you more than it helps me."
Right? Yeah, it's
So let
supposed to be symbiotic. It's supposed to be a symbiotic relationship where it's give and take. Like you're supposed to be able to learn from somebody that's in your circle. Like even somebody that's newer than you, they might have something that you don't possess. Like I love the barter system. Like I learned how to mix, master, engineer. Like if you know how to do that, all right. Do you know how to market? Like I learned everything I could about this business so that I could be just like you said, add the value to it. Because like otherwise nobody's going to take you serious. And like if you can't book shows, that's the other part. A lot of people they say they're ready, they've never done a live show. That's where the money's at. Like streaming, like your music, although obviously very important, the money isn't in the streaming. It's really in the merch and the tours.
yeah, the
Like
appearances.
yeah, that's it. Like 'cause that's where they're getting bags, the $100,000 for a show once you get even a moderate name. So it's like yes, let's do that.
And it's funny I see some people even when they see TikToks and stuff like that, like they really don't comprehend like what's going on and stuff. There's a few couple guys that do like this funny dance or whatever. Uh, and people are like, yo, this is stupid. Like, why would you keep doing this? I'm like, he's probably doing club appearances for this one song. They will
Yes.
literally cut the song on, and the guy's gonna come out and do this song for 5K. You know what I mean?
Done.
And go to
I'll do
fuck
that any night of the week.
homeless. What are we doing? Like, it's kind of common sense. But I feel like the hardest part, honestly, for a lot of it is just really just getting past the putting yourself out there.
Yes.
That's really even for a lot of situations that I've seen myself. You spend so much time criticizing. You see a Nicki Minaj video, and you're like, "This Nicki song sucks," or "Nicki, I would never wear this," and do. But now you box yourself in because you have been so openly speaking about people, and now you're afraid to even try because if it doesn't come out too good, you understand the critiques that are on the other side of
Mhm.
this.
Which most people can't. Artists, I will say that as being a producer and being somebody that listens objectively, like being an engineer in general and listens objectively to everything, and it just gives my opinion, because that's all I tell them. It's my opinion. It's not. I'm not saying I'm right all the time. I'm just saying that I will listen to it with. I will be very critical, but I'm also going to tell you what you're doing good, what you're doing bad, in my opinion. And a lot of times the negatives do outweigh the positives, because the less I say, the better it is. Like I can give you compliments, but the less I say, the better. If I say, "Yo, it's like I think the bass is just too heavy," that is great. Your shit is fantastic. Because like I'm gonna be critical so that you can get better. And I noticed that if I that's how I built my reputation, is through just being honest with people. Because a lot of times in this game, they're lying to you. They trying to finesse you so that they can either get something from you, or so that you can do something for them. Like it's just essentially it's a selfish action. Um, have you ever had management? Like, did you go to the point where you had to have management? No.
No.
It. I will say that I never thought of myself as going to be a manager. Like I focused on the marketing. I focused on the engineering side and the production, so that I could do it for myself. And then I found out I was better at doing it for other people. Like I love being on that side of the mic, but this side of the mic is pretty comfortable, and I get to experience a different side of the business. And when it came to management, though, because I knew all of these things, people were like, "Why don't you manage me?" Because I don't. I mean, I don't have the contacts to manage you. That's why. Like your manager should take you, not only like help you to organize your stuff, get you to a certain point, but they should also get you to through doors that you couldn't get through yourself. And I don't feel that that's since I can't do that at this moment. Yeah, I don't think that I should manage you. And they're like, no, it's fine. I don't care about that part. All this other stuff is important. Well, if that's the case, I was never a manager. I was really in artist development. Like
Yeah.
get them up to the foundational level, like where they're just good to go to start, and then get them to the doors, introduce them to the doors. But most people think that they're further along in the process than they really are. It's just the facts. The kid that just made that one beat and then went and spit it on his phone, he thinks that he's way further than he is, in the game.
It's funny you say that, because even for myself, sometimes when people are saying stuff to me about the music that I post, not bad things, but uplifting, and I'm just like, it's a different for me putting those things out, because I understand that they're not.
Yeah.
I understand where the mixing is the stuff. That's why I didn't sit here and do a whole song on it. I was feeling the thing. I went in here and recorded because I'm aware of I'm not releasing it on Spotify.
Okay.
I'm not sending it out to the, you know what I mean? It's if you do happen to come to my page, these are things that I do. These are my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you said, to understand the levels, I wouldn't send this song in to a review show and be sitting here like, oh man, he's gonna love this. I don't love it. I like it.
Yes.
I like to put it on. It's a vibe. I can put it on when I'm walking. It's like motivational speaking for myself or whatever. Yeah, boo, boo, boo. Overcome it. These things don't matter. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's understand the level. So as well as what you were saying with the A&R thing, I think I'm more at the point of trying to build those relationships by going through the process. You know what I mean? By actually, okay, I'm releasing these side songs and this is cool, because at the end of the day, I do understand that for the younger artists, you want to feel like you're releasing something to feed your fans every day, like your currency. You know what I mean? Where this is just your thing, but at the end of the day, okay, if I'm doing a larger project, I'm talking to a guy that's doing beats over here. Okay, I got a guy that's mixing and mastering outhouse. Let me build a relationship with him. So if I do come across somebody that's willing to wants to take it to that next, hey, I'm not telling you I can do it. So I'm not setting myself up for failure, you know what I mean, which I have done before, you know what I mean, for signing myself up for projects I'm not necessarily ready for, you know what I mean? But at least I can direct you to somebody that is ready and willing, you know what I mean? So building those relationships, like you said, to kind of, once again, be a liaison for that next generation and not necessarily be saying, I'm going to hold
And that's where
the ball and they're going to love everything I'm doing. And it's about, like, all right, look, bro, chill out.
ego, we battle the ego every single day. Like it regrows every day. Even if you have a complete ego death, it's going to regrow that next day, and it's going to start in the recesses of your mind, but it will eventually grow to where it takes up all the room if you don't constantly keep awareness. Self-awareness is a very difficult thing for just humans in general, but musicians especially, and especially even more so in hip hop in general because it is a braggadocious genre. Like you have to, you can't just be like, my stuff is mid. Nobody's listening to that. Nobody's listening to that.
Yeah, that's not their objective.
Because they want to. Because the real thing, I think that they want. There's a level of fantasy to it in the sense that even if you lived it, the people that are listening, yes, they may relate, but it is your story. It is your experience. Like, um, they want to feel like they have experienced that when they listen to your album. They just don't want to hear the words you have to say because people rarely care about. They care less about what you say and more about how you say it. Because like if they believe you or not, like because if they believe you, you say it. Go ahead. But if you have a voice that doesn't match what you're saying, nah. Like it's like Mike Tyson. If he was a rapper, I don't think it would work out very well. Even though he's a bad motherfucker, and at least he was. I still, if I heard that voice, I would just not be. I wouldn't be wanting to be that person. I wouldn't want to wear the hat. Putting somebody's face or logo on your body says that you, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I would voice like that. Just being real. Have you heard me say that? Sorry, Mike. My bad. I seen him knock out that dude in the plane here recently. Did you see that one? That was like some months ago. That was like 8 months ago.
No, man. I saw him was with the Logan Paul.
Yeah, it was before that even. I think it was like just right before that when he started getting into it. But it's like that right there was a whole thing too. Like that's the biggest finesse I ever seen on the public. Like he was just getting the bag.
Openly finesse.
Openly. To the extent that they was looking at it like they're gonna have to sue it. Like they were talking about suing Logan Paul and Mike Tyson over it. It's like, look, it's sport. Like it's kind of like the NFL right now. I didn't know this until this year that the NFL changed their registration to be sports entertainment now. I didn't know why. I didn't understand. It's because there's legislation that if you're an organized body, that there's rules that you actually have to go by. But if you're sports entertainment, things happen. What is it?
How much more weirder do you think it's been, especially with a lot of the newer athletes, with the older athletes? I mean, coming up with the podcast and kind of just being like, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that's going on.
Yeah, they knew it though, but they could have gotten more trouble then. Like it was a legal issue then. Now with rebranding it or renaming it, just behind the scenes, they didn't exactly like throw that out there either. But like with rebranding it, it's like, all right, let's go ahead and maximize. I knew that they were doing that when they changed over the college football to ESPN. Like when they got that contract and they had the committee, and it was like, all right, they're going to base it on these three things. All right, let's see how that works. And then by the next year, like they did it the first year, and we were like, okay, this is weird. We don't know how this works, but they say that y'all get to go. The next year, it was like, oh, strength of schedule matters. Like, because it didn't matter the first time. It mattered the second time. And then it mattered less and less and less after that. And it was like, huh. But if you looked at, and this is what they did, is they went and looked at the actual fan bases and how much they spend, and that's how they were moving it around. You're definitely going to be in the top 10 if they spend over X amount. Because now you might fade out of it at the very last minute, but they were definitely playing with the numbers to be able to get who they wanted in.
Does it?
Oh. On anybody.
So what do you think about even with a situation like that to leave for the ramifications, especially with now that legalized gambling is really such a thing like that now? It's not a under the wool, you know what I mean, behind closed doors type deal no more. Anybody can go ahead and gamble. So to go ahead and say that, hey, this is entertainment.
Mm-hmm. That's like you're betting on WWE right now.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Well, we're openly telling you on top of it.
Yeah. And yet we can't resist. I can now. So since I can, I will. Like, and you're gonna win, but the house always wins. Always. It is rigged against you, just like every other system. And all the systems are rigged from the very beginning. And I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, so like, of course, I have that like slightly paranoid outlook. But I consider myself a realist. Just looking at the past, taking the information in my experience, it seems logical that most systems are rigged. If you give somebody an incentive to cheat, they're going to.
So I was about to say, so even with something like that, the incentive to cheat in this situation would be super large in all actuality. You've already heard people speak about things that involves like basketball IQ situations, whereas though they're looking at the ref and people are like, well, how could you say the ref is throwing the game? Well, if you know that this player already has X amount of fouls and he's prone to foul on such and such situations, you know what I mean? Just by you placing him inside of the point at this time. And then even with that, okay, so then you do get a bad call. That's still just as valuable because the replay that we're going to get for Sports Center for the next few weeks until the next game comes is going to be just as valuable as you winning or losing the game. So the
Absolutely.
incentive for the cheating is even super high now to a different level.
And this and but they're telling us straight to our face. They're telling us that they are willing to cheat. That I mean, we just people inherently know. Like you'll have people and you'll talk amongst yourselves and go, that shit it was rigged for sure. Did you see the call that he made? Yeah, I saw that shit too. Okay, then what the fuck? What's up with that? That's as far as it goes because there's a new problem every week, and our attention span is so short that it doesn't even matter because it really doesn't. I mean, yes, does it actually matter? Yes, 100%. But we're gonna forget it just like we do every other problem. Like it seems to be the coping mechanism for America is just to be like, what's the next problem? And they'll make sure there's one to distract you for sure, for sure. There's always a distraction. I feel like it's the same way in the music industry a lot of times. Like all these battles that are happening, every single one of these battles that are happening, it feels like, I mean, you go from MGK and Eminem, that was definitely set up. Like you go for the Drake and Kendrick. The only thing about that though is that I don't see what Drake really had to gain, because he went from number one, number two, like fighting Taylor Swift, to number four, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's millions of dollars actually. Like it's millions of dollars in positioning, and then you have Kendrick who went from number 21 or 23 all the way down to 14. That hop is crazy. And then now he's up to like what? I think he was number 5 on the last one. So like he's right behind Drake now. He's gonna overtake him easily. Because everybody's got their time. Everybody's got their time, but it's all a distraction. Like watch these artists slug it out. And you got your team. Pick your team. I picked Team Cole. It didn't work out.
For me, it was crazy for me. I guess because I grew up once again in that older era of rap. I'm here for the bars. I don't have any emotional investment in either one of you because I've already kind of judged your character and had my feelings off you from your work and your discography and even the way that you presented yourself over the years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For Drake letting go, I just honestly feel it's ego at some point. It just do be ego. It be ego. You know what I mean?
All day.
They've been doing this back and forth tit for tat for years. You know what I mean? And it's never really caused for you to get into your bag. But you know what I mean? The last few years that he had, would you not, you know what I mean? Jump out the window would feel like there wasn't going to be any repercussions, at least not to the extent that it was.
I don't think he foresaw that happening. I thought it was an impossibility to him because that ego. Like he was like, no, I mean, yeah. And if somebody introduced that idea to you, they're like, because I mean, we know that he has writers. Like that's the one thing, and that's why I wouldn't respect even if he would have came out with the most crazy shit that imaginable to try and combat Kendrick's just slaughter. If he was gonna be able to contend with that, I would just be like, that was probably written. Like somebody wrote that for him. I've never seen him hit bars like that level. Like I ain't gonna say that he doesn't have catchy songs. I'm not gonna say that. Like I have a buddy that's he might be watching, but he said in an argument with somebody else, he said Drake is garbage. That's garbage. And the other person spoke up and was like, well, not garbage, obviously. I mean, he's number one for a reason. Like, he can't be complete garbage. Does anybody in this room listen to Drake? It's like, well, no, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, we're a very small section of the populace. So that really doesn't matter. He can't say trash. He's like, or garbage. He's like, I mean, he is to me. I think you need to reassess what you consider garbage. It's like he was pretty much just saying, don't disrespect him like that because he's doing the damn thing.
Not even that. I feel listen, to me with the Drake situation, it feel like Ja Rule all over again. Uh, I hate a motherfucker that says that they wasn't listening to Ja Rule. So if you listen to Vinny Vici, if if when every little thing that you do came on and you wasn't you're
Yo,
frauding, like you know what I mean? Like I get what you may be saying, you weren't buying his albums, or it got to a point that you stopped listening to him because
yeah,
50 Cent's influenced you,
yep.
or it wasn't popular anymore. But to be like, okay, at that period of time where that they didn't have that time, there's a time when Drake was fresh, new, and not just I'm jump on everybody's style, man. But I'm talking about when he first came in and was just regular Drake, Degrassi, Curly Fro, when he was in that rhythm.
What's the first time you remember him? Because I
Drake,
only remember It's Over. That's the very first time I heard him.
um, it was a mixtape song, and it was somebody else it was a female that was singing the hook, and I remember him ending up redoing that song eventually, and then of course, most of us we got demo-itis. I heard the mixtape version, and
Yeah,
then when he got it redone and polished, I was just like,
you messed it up. Some things are
yeah,
made to be raw. That's true. That's a very interesting point because I have to like with one of the guys on the heist. He had done a track where the people that he listened to a lot of Chicago drill. So he'll at the end of the song he was doing these stutter bars. Like he was like, I'm about to. All right, hold on. And he'd go in. I was like, I'm an engineer. I deleted those because it sounded like he just ran over. I deleted them and was like, duh, duh. I sent it over to him. He's like, yo, what's wrong with the last part? Like,
yeah, the
you rapping.
vibes, yeah.
What do you mean? There's
He was
the stuff that was
setting the
like,
tone.
that's it. And I didn't understand stylistic differences. So some things are made to be more raw. Like if you go ahead and polish all that up, it loses all its feeling, its value.
Um, to take it back to the earlier conversation and relate that to rap as well, when we were talking about the sports and as far as it being rigged or whatever, and the value in it in the
Mm,
rap game or in the music game at all at this point in time, we all kind of admit that we understand that the game is rigged at this point. We
yes.
understand that hey, there's a bigger system that's over here, and then there's a little system that's over here. For certain people that are on the team or whatever, you understand that okay, I'm not the bigger player, so I'm not going to get that same amount of time on the court that the other person is going to get. So you find value in okay, this is what I am going to do. I'm going to play extra hard at practice. Do you feel like a lot of the time that's what comes up missing with a lot of the indie artists? Whereas though you say, like you were saying before, you say that you understand that it's a bigger system. So either you turn into a hater of the system, you don't go to practice and you don't work as hard because you be like, oh man, but the system not going to let me win no way.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
You
or
become
do
jaded.
you go the other way and say, well, anyway, I'm going to play harder. And yes, I'm not going to be able to sign and get this 20 million, but I'm going to be able to get 2,500 just from the streaming and be able to tour and keep everything that comes from it and be able to do merch and keep everything that comes from it and be able to put my content up and do everything. And if I want to do a documentary on myself for every project that I do, this could be.
That is that is what they don't do because you get discouraged. And I understand getting discouraged by having our our disappointment is a direct result of our expectations. So like we're constantly expecting that like we're shooting for the stars and we make it on the moon and we're like, yo, I was aiming out there. Yo, you are in space. Stop playing. Like you did make it out there. You're doing something that like if you've been paid what is it? I think the number is 500 it's $500. If you made $500 in music ever, you've made more than 90% of the artists that are out. $500, and that's ever. That's not monthly. That's just ever. Like there's a lot of musicians that never make a single dime from it. They do it for the love. That's the difference between interest and passion. Is like if you do this, you do this.
So that's what I was about to ask you. Do you feel that kind of mean what would be the difference between maybe discouragement and maybe you just don't really want it the way that you think you want to? I've had people to where as though they were good at rap,
Yeah.
but they were just good at rap. Like you didn't want to be a rapper. You would rap. You wanted to be a rapper when everybody was rapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you
I
don't
know.
necessarily really want to be a rapper. You just want to like be able to put a couple songs out type deal. For me,
Their hobby.
I feel like that's kind of a weird place. I understand even with myself, like, okay, you get things that come up in your life, whether it be children, whether it be bills, responsibility, problems, addictions, whatever it is, you get these major things that come up in your life. But I feel like even for myself, even when they've came, I've still kind of been doing music. You know what I mean? Even if it was like, all right, man, I'm working and shit sucking or whatever, my piece would be, all right, I'm gonna grab me a little bottle, I'm gonna throw a party in the room for myself.
That's all you need. So you were keeping. So that's the difference right there. Is that you were gonna do it regardless of
Arlen,
it got major. Is he up in here?
yeah.
Yeah, man. Yo, for real, for real. That's I've seen him around. That's the really funny part. I've seen AWAS around for a long time. We started out in the same like he listened to the same music as me. Like every single artist that I was on their fan pages or whatever it was, I always saw him comment. And I'm like, oh, what? And then randomly, I found out he lives in the city right over from me. It was like, all right, we got to meet up. So that's I've been watching his progress with his band and everything for years now. Like I mean, just from without us discussing. Like I had already been aware of his band Tribe Zion without ever really having a conversation. But knowing him in the digital world, it was like, so it was just really interesting to see. But again, to come back to it, you were doing the thing, and he's a great example too. Is that he's going to do this regardless. It's going to be no matter if it's difficult. He mentioned on your show that he's got more raps and he's put out more of his hip hop albums than he has Tribe Zion because it's difficult. It's really hard to get that many people to get together and everything. Do you feel like that's what unmotivated me for a long time? Is that I kept doing projects and getting in groups or getting in under labels because they didn't have the resources that you need. Like a label should have some type of resource, some type of value to them, and add value to you, not just claim the name and now you're part of a clique. Like that doesn't really do much for you. Or it can, but it's not going to do the things you want it to. Joyner Lucas's manager said that it costs $50,000 to get you off the ground, like just to get you off the ground. Like if you're just going to be heard by a good, decent bit of people, it takes the marketing budget of $50,000 to do that. And he said if you really want to break them, minimum 100. Even with Joyner's bars, it took $200,000 for them to actually get him up and going. That's crazy. Ain't nobody got that.
Listen, so but for them, you got a person like Joyner Lucas that was the example of an independent artist for 2000 and such and such.
Yeah.
Then we get Ella Russell. That's the objective for independent artists within today's genre or today's atmosphere, today's climate. Whereas though, okay, I'll do the joints in the backyard because I need to practice for my shows anyway. This is something that I'm already going to need a space and a venue to do these things. You know what I mean? And then you build, once again, like I was saying, you build your economy up and you build your atmosphere up. You one of the things that he was saying, even with the people, where though Joyner Lucas is saying, okay, you're paying for advertising, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was doing a thing where though he had certain people that if they are part of his tier or membership or however he had it set up, you can get a part of a share for the songs.
Yes.
So
Micro.
That's what that does for you personally. That gives you a personal motivation to go out and promote the song. I'm not going over here and calling somebody that I don't know to put a bunch of bots on it and get the song taken down.
Yeah. Get it canceled, unable to play on any playlist, on any streaming or anything. But I say we don't play the game at all now. That's what I'm working on right now, is a way to get out of that for everybody. Not just the ones that have the intellect, but actually just give you the resources to do it. I'm working with a developer right now to do a website that does exactly that. It's a streaming platform. It's an education platform. It allows you to be. It's a 90-10 split. Your way 90. Like it's it's just literally so I can man the operation, because it's it costs money to get it going, but I believe in it as a lifelong goal of myself, like, because I want to do it for me. And if you had have you registered songs like with Sound Trust, Sound Exchange, all the BMI, all that good stuff?
I've only released this year. I've only ever released it one song short enough straight through. The music that I've done before, I was doing through Reverb Nation when that was the thing. So I did all of this stuff or whatever with that. But as of recent, I've only done one, and that was going through Lander.
Okay, I like Lander.
Yeah,
I do like Lander.
Yeah, because recently, looking at everything was going on with Distro and everybody else, one of the things that I've seen with most of them, even with somebody like Curtis King or whatever, talking about the buy-in, which is kind of like it's fucked up that the default. That's why I was saying the Lil Russell thing. It's kind of more of a better avenue to do what they're doing, because you're doing the thing whereas though Spotify or whatever your distribution thing is, they have the little special thing that they're doing for you, saying, "Hey, we'll get you on these playlists," but then they're sending you to buy the playlist.
Yes, they are specifically.
Your shit gets you're like, man, I didn't put anybody on it. The only playlists I'm on are the ones that you sent me to. So
that's
how
literally
you even take me down. So to even, once again, like I said, to navigate the system myself and be like, okay, these are the flaws that I already see that other people have. What would be the counteracting or the way to go around it that's even still comfortable for the consumer? You know what I mean? Because I've had some of the ones where I've done on this page on my Instagram, Gumroad or something like that, where as though you can sell any type of media and stuff from there.
Okay.
You get 100%. They just charge you for storing it there or whatever. But then it's an inconvenience. You know what I mean? Especially if people are already listening to your music or listening to your music casually, and then they have to download it. I heard somebody talking about it on a show or something like that. Was like, man, I don't even remember how to download music. He was like, man, I think it was when the Kanye album came out or something like that. Because it was a regular service. He was like, man, I'm sitting here like, yo, where am I storing them at? He was like, I just got house files over here.
You got to figure out going to be a player. You got to figure out everything, and that's what he was trying to do. He's trying to make that player. You remember that when he was Kanye brought the player,
the player or whatever. Yeah.
Nobody want that. You mean I got to buy this for every artist that has this or every? No, nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna do it. Yeah.
It's a retro thought. That's a retro thought. That would have been an innovative retro thought back in the day, and it's so funny. I was thinking about the way that music changed and the way that everybody's like hunting this perfect mix thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would this have happened? And I don't remember this when I was younger. And I was like, even in the cars back in the day, you had an equalizer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You had some of the words though. You were like, okay, well, I'm adjusting this to my liking anyway.
Yes.
Compared to now that most people just put it in and they want it to run.
That's it.
Enough bass, enough everything. Oh my God, this is the terrible mix. If they gotta adjust something, you're like,
I'm not allowed to touch those in my car. My daughter said I'm not allowed to touch them no more because she likes every time I change it. She's like, that's how it should sound. I was like, I know, but and if I left it, she'd be okay with it. But I always press right before the song ends. I'll press the center and center it out to go. That's what they said it should sound like. And she's like, you're ruining songs. So it's like, so I'm not allowed to touch them with you in the car.
That's me.
Yeah. When did they go away? I mean, really though, I don't really see anybody doing that. Like cars have a natural smiley face curve, like on the EQ. It boosts the bass, boosts the highs. That's what you get. So we're not really. It should be sound like the one. It felt like, I don't know if this is true because I wasn't an engineer back when I was a kid, but it feels like it used to be more universal. Like they would make it to where it sounds good to the vehicle that it's in. They would tune the speakers and all that good stuff. But now it just sounds like they're really just trying to please the two demographics: the people that really want to hear the low end, and the people that really want to hear the detail of the shiny bright. And it's like, cool. Doesn't matter how it sounds. Like they're not going to care. And I don't really think that the normal consumer cares. It's engineers. Anybody that's ever mixed, they care.
From once again, my homie Devon or whatever, he was having a conversation with one of the producers, and he was saying that it more so came down to because of streaming. When you're sending your music through the platform, they're going to do their adjustments and stuff to it anyway. So once they figured out what they were going to do to adjustments, because it was like the perfect example that he used was when you're watching YouTube and then it comes to a commercial and it's loud as shit for no reason.
Yeah, they
And
they
then
haven't
it'll go
figured out
back to something else
yet.
because they have a standard of leveling and they're trying to do their little thing all the way across it. So regardless of what you're sending in, they may be squashing it or they might be stretching it.
Yes.
So if they're trying to make it louder, it's going to sound distorted. And
Every
then if
time.
they try to make it lower, then it's going to sound muffled because now everything is getting mashed on there. So now you get that next set of generation of engineers that are aware of what they're trying to do. So now you're trying to combat it in advance. Like, okay, they're going to do this to it. Let me try to sit it here. So at least when it comes through on their end, it'll be a level comfortable listening. Because most people, once again, what are you listening to your music on? You're not going and buying a physical album anymore. So you're listening to it on Spotify. So Spotify is already going to do whatever it is that they did to it.
That's it. 3. Spotify takes up the most. It's like what 60% of the whole market. Then you got behind them is YouTube, and then you have Apple Music. Other than that, I don't know anybody that listens to anything else. Like I don't know anybody, even though they show it on all the reports. But Deezer, I don't listen to that. SoundCloud, it had its heyday, and then it's kind of faded in popularity. But people still putting stuff out on there too. Some people, it's the only platform that they use because they like the fact that it's not monetized, but they also don't censor you. Like if you were to say use a YouTube feed or something like that, they're not really going after you like every other platform is because you're not taking it serious. You're not monetizing it. Do you think that's an issue, like the copyright issue, like whether it's sampling or whether it's you just jacked a beat and you're like, yo, I just want to put this album out. Do you think that matters?
It's a hard one to me because I have an empathy for both sides of the situation. I do understand somebody that's in the house and you don't have any way to get beats, and this is the way that you can get beats, so you're downloading them off of YouTube and stuff. But I still believe that it comes with it's like breaking the law or anything. When you're taking this beat, you do understand that if something does go good with this song, that you owe this person. That's just all it is to it. So we shouldn't have to have a talk about it. You shouldn't feel like you don't owe this person nothing. So if you're jacking it and then you're giving them their royalties when the time comes, if nothing happens to the song and they're kind of like hunting you down because you got 52 likes about it, yeah, that's kind of saggy or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's still within their rights. You know what I mean?
And but they're not going to come after you until it's actually monetarily viable. Because like Spotify, who was it? It was there's two different suits that I liked, which was one of them was there was a guy that was making AI music under a ton of different artists. Like I mean a ton, and he was raking in millions of dollars off of the streams. He was letting AI do it and just throwing it out there, and they were paying him millions of dollars. And that's illegal. They said it's illegal.
Yes.
No, it's not. It's not illegal. It's immoral. But you can sue it. They can sue the crap out of them for it for not disclosing that. But it's because they're only worried about their liability on it. That's the only reason why they even care. Is that they don't want to get sued for the AI stealing somebody's their melody, and then this person used it, and then now they're in a suit. I got it from them. They can't be involved.
But guess what? It's funny you said that. I saw the clothes. They got a new thing on Lander now, to where as though if you have your music, you could be eligible to put it in for AI, and they'll pay you to put it in for AI. And I was like, Okay, I see where this next, and that's why it's funny when I'm thinking about music recently. I think it's going to be in a better state than it's been in for years because at the end of the day, the income that you're going to make is going to be so low on it that only people that are really interested in it are going to do music.
Yes.
Because even what you see now, a lot of the time, even for myself, you have people that are falling in love with the personality first, and then they'll go and hit them with something else.
Mm-hmm. That's what
So at the end of the
they
day,
do.
once
That's what
again,
they're
for
buying.
musicians, it's going to be a thing of where you can get your sense of identity again, whether it be your respective areas, and not have to necessarily fall under the Drake umbrella to where you feel like you have to do these individual things because you know you're not going to be chasing. Because I think even with, especially with rap, more so than anything, if you're hearing that this person signed for a meal,
Mm-hmm.
now everybody's saying when I come in, I want to sign for a meal or I want to sign for more than a meal.
Yes,
And then
absolutely. You're
next
like, I'm better
generation
than
by
you.
default says, "Yo, I want to sign for this." It's going to be dry. It's going to be dry.
Yeah. Well, do you think that AI can compete with real people,
No,
like as far as the
no.
music? Why is that?
I think when I was talking to the guy BKC, and he was saying something about the AI, and I was like, okay. When I even hear an AI song, have you ever heard somebody that curse and they're using a cuss word, but it just doesn't sound right?
Yeah, yeah. Like my wife.
You're putting it in the wrong order. There's something's going on with the way that you're saying it in that respective order that it doesn't come off necessarily genuine. So you could be mad
Yeah.
as shit, but just because you said that in the wrong order, now it's kind of a joke. I feel like you missed the beat. You know what I mean? That's kind of
Yes.
how AI comes off to me.
Greenery. That's it. It comes off as me. I think it's called the uncanny valley. That's what it is. It
Yep.
looks real, but it's not. It's just it's off, and then it gets weird. There's a place where it's like it just seems weird. Um, but I think that as it develops, though, I think that it will get better.
Yeah.
I think that it will get better, and I think that it will get to the point where it's indiscernible from one another. Like I think that because I saw the other day, and I do know artists that's their pure motive. That's all they're working with right now is AI, and they're not. I still call it music. Like I still call it mixing because like I'm from a DJ background as well. Um, First instrument was the bass, but then I moved over. My second instrument was the turntables, and like I couldn't have made a sound without other people's sounds. So like I really understand the sampling from them, not using the song. If you just press I want a trap beat and a tight beat, that's not sufficient. Like you're not really doing anything musical. Don't call yourself a producer or anything like that. Don't take the writer's credit. But you should be able to break that, stem it apart, and if it's got a really dope bass line, run it. Like I don't have any problem with it. But that's just me personally.
And it's funny you said that. That's even something I was explaining to the dude that I would use it for. Is at the time when they were doing the soul samples, I was like, that would be
Mhm.
perfect. How many times do you want a soul sample to say something specific? So you
Yes.
can really go in there and get it to say what it wants to say, and then you can go back and resample it and get the tonality, and then also not have to worry about getting royalty clearance
Mhm.
from the person that you're getting a sample from.
Huge.
Do you know what I mean?
Huge. I have a beat right now that every rapper I've ever shown, they go, I gotta have it. Like I'll buy it. I've had people offer like one dude offered $2,500. I was like, if you really have it, I would consider it. But at the same
It
time,
had a sample in it.
yeah, it's not going to clear. I've already contacted them, the people that deal with the specific sample. I literally got in touch with the trust, and I was like, I would like to use it for this, and I sent the song in, and of course you can't clear anything until you have the final version because they want to have they get the final say if you can do it or not. And this family said specifically they were like, we don't want any hip hop on top of our stuff like at all. We don't want his memory. Um, you know, degraded in any way by that form of music. That's not the type of music he made, so we're not going to go with it. Which was really unfortunate because again, everybody loves that track, and I mean, I'll mixtape it, I'll let it go, like, but or somebody will leak it, Um, you know, it's just legalities anyway. Like as far as that goes, but you can't make no money off of it.
And
That's
that's
for
what
sure.
I was about to say. That's really just all it is at the end of the day, which was one of the problems, once again, even for myself, that I ran into earlier. Well, a lot of music that I was doing, whereas though I was resampling R&B joints. So it's like, all right, I catch the joint, I'm catching steam, I'm aware of what the formula is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm doing these things with the intention, but then I'm like, all right, if you don't have a follow up to follow something that can literally capture that same soul feel,
yeah.
then
If
you know what I mean?
that's what you're getting
You're
popular
treating it because
for, and
that
you
song
can't
that
do
you
it.
did,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get nothing from
Mhm.
this except for visibility. This is literally all this song is for.
But we're in an era of visibility being the most important part or the driving factor for everybody because it's all we look at vanity metrics as a culture. Like how many followers do they have? How many monthly streams? We look at that number and it means something. We have to have community buy-in before we actually buy in. Like that's why I've always been preferable to the underground because it's literally going. It doesn't matter how many they got. This guy's got 12 people. I love it. It doesn't matter. Like it's just literally trying to be objective about the music. Are you doing it because you fit in, or are you doing it because you actually you fuck with that person? Like,
Yeah.
and I found that the average listener they just really don't care. I mean, there was an artist that I work with, and I'm not going to name his name, but he has his idea of mixing. It's not and to me it's not mixing because he's on Audacity like I started out and but he's layering like 6 or 7 different I mean it's been 12 before all the same verse all the same thing just 12 of them and I was like it sounds horrendous you can't put that out you just literally cannot put that out and he's because I was his manager at the time he had signed me as his manager knowing how I felt about what he'd done in the past and I mixed it proper for him. I mixed the song, and it was, in my opinion, I mixed it perfectly. It worked in every medium. It was good. And then I put both of our versions on for my wife. She's not musically inclined. She's a fan, but she's not musically inclined. She don't know.
Mhm.
And she said she couldn't tell the difference between the two. She just thought his had like the auto tune effect. It's like you can't hear it, can't hear it at all. It doesn't matter to them. They just the average listener doesn't really care. It's really a matter of signaling. Like I mentioned this yesterday. The I use the term they're wearing red because in nature, when you look at nature, like a prey will often imitate a predator in the area or a poisonous thing, so that the other predators won't attack it because it looks like that thing. And I feel like and it's commonly red. So I feel like we as people as a society we do that as well like or well certain people do they will act in a certain way they'll dress more gangster they'll dress more like the rocker kids back in the day you know they're all wearing black and doing all this stuff to look as hard as they could but most of the motherfuckers are soft as baby shit so it's like you know they're wearing red like that's a phrase that I use because it's like they're just putting on a mask so nobody fucks with them like all right yeah I'm tough like so um, I feel like the average listener doesn't care as long as they that if they're wearing that mask of that rapper or that individual that they're portraying that they are that way, and it's more of signaling. Like really, who you listen to is your signaling.
Yes. And it's funny you would even say that. I would say
Oh
this most
fuck!
definitely truth when it comes to buffering. Yeah, that might have been me.